Hello everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another card video. Today is my 8th capsule card for my challenge for the month of August, and I'm starting out by picking out some colors of Concord and Ninth ink. I'm going to pick out 5 different colors. I'm choosing Ballet Slipper, Grapefruit, Buttercup, Aqua Sky, and Peacock. Those are the 5 colors I'm going to be using today. And I wanted to mention that it's been no secret that this challenge for this month has definitely been just that, a challenge. But of all the supplies that were in my capsule for this month, the one that really surprised me and I really love is this set of ink cubes. The Concord and Ninth inks are fantastic. Even though I keep using them and saying I love them in my videos, people keep asking specifically, do you like these inks? And the answer is absolutely yes. I think they're fantastic. Today I'm using them in a fashion that is almost just like painting with them. I'm not even applying them to stamps or anything like that. I'm putting them directly onto some cardstock. This is some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White 110 pound cardstock, and at this point it is cut to 5x7. I will trim it down a little bit later, but right now it's 5x7. I have just some grid paper beneath it to catch any ink that goes off the sides, and I'm swiping my ink pads across, making some rough stripe shapes. I'm not being super precise. They can be a little wobbly, a little wonky, and kind of fade off to one side. I wanted like a brush stroke effect, but only using the ink cubes themselves. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to add some gold accents. So I pulled out my Altenew metallic paints that were included in my capsule box this month. And I frothed up a really thick paint. This isn't watercolor paper, so I don't want to add too much moisture on top because then it starts to eat away at the paper and it warps and it's not real. It doesn't look real nice. So I wanted to make sure that the paint I was using was super thick. So I'm just using a paintbrush and putting on 2 little stripes, adding a little gold. And then I'm going to do some paint splattering with this gold. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to do some lettering first. I forgot. Well, spoiler, I'll be doing some paint splattering. I have a size 2 round brush here. I'm going to do a really just simple greeting. It's just going to say hello. And if you don't want to do lettering like this, or you don't want to write your greeting, you could definitely stamp a greeting and emboss it in gold embossing powder or anything like that. I could stamp a black greeting right here. I think that'd be really beautiful. I was kind of on a roll here. I didn't want to break out the stamps or my MISTI, so I just decided to use a paintbrush and write on my greeting. So it just says hello, and you can see how beautiful that gold is against that ink color. So now I'm going to put down a paper towel and do some ink splattering. I'm going to put some gold ink on the edge of a piece of white cardstock. This actually has some stamping that didn't work out on the other side, so I'm just reusing some cardstock, putting it right on the edge. And then I'm going to run my brush off the edge of the paper, and that will sort of flick the paint down onto my project. Usually I use an acrylic block for this, but this paper thought it would work nice. I got 2 really big paint splotches right there. Not a big deal. I just wanted to make sure that everything else was a little bit smaller, and that's how it turned out. I think it turned out great. Those 2 paint splotches, you can see how it kind of ate away at the paper a little bit. So I tried to make sure I didn't do much more than that. For this second card, I thought I would make sort of an abstract center area, and I'm just using the ink pads to do that. I started with the Peacock color going all the way across. I'm using Aqua Sky, not quite halfway, just a little past halfway. Then I'm coming in with Buttercup and finishing off this row. And it's going to overlap with the Aqua Sky just a little bit and get a green shade. And then I took, let's see, this is Ballet Slipper. And I went all the way across, adding another stripe up there. And then I took Grapefruit and I used the edge of the ink pad just to get a thinner stripe, but it wasn't as precise as I wanted it to be. So I grabbed that white cardstock that I used for the gold splattering earlier, and I just used the edge of that, placed it right over that spot, and then press the ink pad. And that gave me a little bit of a sharper, straight edge right at the top. And that's exactly what I wanted. I want it just to be a little more precise, as if I used a very, very small ink pad. So now I'm coming in with that gold. I'm going to do a border around all 4 sides. This is going to add just a little bit of that gold shade. And I'm not being very precise with this either. Just like those ink pads had really rough edges and it's not all straight corners and things like that, I didn't worry about having this gold border be, super straight. Of course, if you wanted to, you could definitely put down a ruler and it'll help guide you to make your lines straight, but I didn't want to worry about that. Added more gold to the edge of that cardstock and splattered on more. I'm using a smaller paintbrush now, so that will give me smaller paint splatters. And just putting that on. And then I use that same number 2 brush to put the word high. And I'm just using the very tip of this brush, and I'm not pressing down very much because I want it to stay very thin. I don't want it to have any thick lines as I write the word high. So I did an uppercase H and then a lowercase I, making sure to dot that I. Then I went back in and added some slab serifs on it, just these little lines that end on each of these letters. And it wasn't looking quite right, and I thought, what is going on? Let's just add a heart. I thought that would be really cute. I just have a heart over on the side. And then I also was like, oh, the dot on the I doesn't look quite right. It needs to be a little bit bigger. And once I made that dot bigger, then it looked perfect to me. I thought it looked great. Evened out the bottom point on that heart, and then I was finished with this card front. So now I'm going to set these aside to dry completely while I prep my card bases. Just kidding. I trimmed down this piece first. I took 1/2 inch off each side, or not each side, but each dimension. So it ended up being 4.5 wide by 6.5 tall. I now have some Peacock cardstock from Concord and Ninth. I cut it down to a 5x7 card base. So this cardstock is actually 10 inches wide by 7 inches tall, and I scored that at 5 inches so I could fold it in half. And then I scored my white cardstock at 5.5 to create a top folding card. So I have a 5x7 card and an A2 card today. Put my foam adhesive on the back of the large piece, and then put that directly in the center of that Peacock cardstock. And it's going to match really well with the Peacock ink that I used earlier. At this point, the ink pads are still drying back. They do smooth out as they dry. So in the final photos, you'll see that they're even more smooth. Put some Tombow Extreme adhesive on the back of the smaller card front, and then pressed it directly down onto the card base. So here are the final cards. I love how they turned out. I love this color palette with the splash of gold. I think it turned out so beautiful, and I really enjoyed this entire process. So these are the last 2 cards for my capsule challenge for the month. Tomorrow's the 1st of September, which means we are heading right into Stamptember over at Simon Says Stamp. They have a huge release coming out tonight at midnight Eastern. So come back to my YouTube channel. I'm going to walk you through the entire release just under 12 hours from now when I post this. So hope you guys will join me. On screen, I've got 2 more videos, well, actually 3 more videos for you to check out. Have my last Friday live stream, and then the previous 2 capsule cards. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys tonight for the Stamptember release.